So we know more about the brain than ever before, but patients still lack effective, personalized treatments. So this is a really urgent, unmet medical need that we're rising to the challenge for. There still remains the need to have multiple disciplines, neuroscience, engineering, regulation, business, to translate these ideas into solutions. And oftentimes those disciplines don't necessarily work at the same speed.
The brain may not be acting alone. Our brains are connected to our bodies, and our bodies are exposed to the environment and will inherently change the function of the brain. And we need to study everything together in order to find solutions.
So at the Wyss Center, we say we don't wait for translation, we engineer it. We ensure that they have not only the science and the engineering capabilities from the beginning, but also the input from the patients and the clinicians, and also the regulatory affairs to ensure that we're developing something that will ultimately have a patient impact. Bringing scientists, engineers, and clinicians together changes the way innovation happens, because from the beginning we have the patient in mind and we have the clinical workflow in mind.
We need academic institutions that will do the high-risk research, the high risk of not finding anything. And once we understand the concept, the basic mechanisms, there we will be able to develop products, and this is the role of industry. We need to have industry in the loop to be able to transform a discovery into a product that can really be used and that regulated and that is safely applicable for patients.
It is absolutely vital to accelerate and bridge the gap between research and bedside. When people are put together in close proximity, that's where you get a lot of discovery, and when clinicians are there too, you can implement that in real clinical practice.
So AI-guided neuromodulation is a way to actually precisely intervene in a patient's brain state at a specific time based on all the knowledge we have from this gathered data.
AI can go deeper in the electroencephalogram. It can extract the meaningful diagnostic information even outside the visible abnormalities that clinicians see and spot usually. One of the key problems in personalized medicine is the ability to stratify patients. So with AI, we can stratify patients, understand the best therapeutic profile for one specific patient. This will be a game changer, because then the ability to treat patients will dramatically increase.
It's very important to move beyond one-size-fits-all treatments when dealing with brain disorders and psychiatric disorders in particular. It's like asking people to run marathon with the same size of shoes. Brains are not the same to each individual, and circuits are not the same, and also two patients with the same diagnosis, they will manifest two different types of symptoms. So it is very important to personalize the treatment to the patient, clinical presentation, biology, and trajectory.
So AI enables personalization of these specific treatments to the own patient's data. We can also adapt the therapy as the patient's situation evolves. Oftentimes diseases aren't static, and AI and other kinds of therapies enable us to develop dynamic and personalized therapies. We're looking beyond the brain at sort of the brain-body relationship.
Partially the problem of studying separately organs impacts how we treat patients. But if we want to go from basic science to clinical care, we need to bring the whole body. And with the development of new technologies, now we're much more capable of doing that. The gut has many neurons embedded throughout the whole length of the intestine, stomach, and large intestine. And these neurons are communicating with our brain. That pathway, which we call the gut-brain axis, actually has multiple facets to it, because it's also impacted by stress, by hormones, by what we're eating, obviously. We can understand the function of the gut and the brain at the same time.
So the vision is to enable as many personalized and dynamic treatments to reach as many patients as possible.
Technology can be a real game changer also for medication and diagnostic opportunities. Having new biomarkers, being able to detect more elements from the body and be able to understand better the pathologies, but also which treatment is the most effective, that's what's going to change medicine for tomorrow.
The Wyss Center's mission is really to translate cutting-edge research into clinical solutions to benefit the lives of patients with neurological and mental health disorders.
The future of the neuroscience and the body is changing now because we have access to wearables and more non-invasive ways to measure how the body functions in the context of the brain and how the brain is functioning in the context of the body.
Today we are starting with epilepsy, but tomorrow we will be able to provide biomarkers, treatment recommendation, workflow optimization, some automation principles for many different aspects of tasks coming up in the hospital.
We have multiple randomized clinical trials ongoing across neurology and psychiatry. We have the AI-guided neuromodulation project. There's a lot of things going on, and we hope that this will bring a real benefit and real impact to patients and their families.
Neurotechnology is an extremely exciting field. It holds enormous promise to treat people by the masses.